Hey guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the weekend of July. It's August 8th. I'm doing this with like natural sunlight today rather than having my lighting all done, so hopefully it doesn't look too weird. All right, so I did get a lot of books, and this is last week and this week, and I'm doing this a little bit earlier in the week on Wednesday, so I might get more books, hopefully not, because I got quite a few. So I have 12 to go through. 12? And I'll just go ahead and start going through them. All right. I did get 3 books for review over the last couple weeks here. And part of this was I kind of was seeking out more books. I did go ahead and get a new Kindle e-reader. So I did get a Kindle Oasis. My Kindle Paperwhite was first generation, and it was starting to have some trouble with like battery life, and in general just ran really slow. So like you'd hit to select the book and then you'd wait for a minute or two and then you would have the book opening. So I did just get the Kindle Oasis earlier this week, and it is really, really nice. Like the edges of the letters on the text are not jagged, and it's a lot lighter. You can do warm light on it. I don't have to worry about dropping it in the tub if I'm in the bathtub because it's waterproof. So not an advertisement for Amazon at all, but I do read a lot on my Kindle, and so I was going to get a Kindle Paperwhite, but my husband kind of talked to me. He's like, you read in that thing a lot, maybe you should do the more expensive version, and so I got the Oasis, and I think it's really worth it. Super nice. Anyways, so as a result of that, I was like, I should go online, and I had to go change all my Kindle email addresses for the reviewing sites, so I did that, and then ended up picking up some books for review. So first book I got for review is Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett, or Benet, either way. This is a young adult phase series. It comes out November 10th, so young adult fantasy series involves fae, sorcery, supposedly humor. It's about like a young thief, and that's what I know about it. It sounded kind of fun, and so I went ahead and got that. Again, comes out November 10th, and I got this through Edelweiss. So I think that'll be a fun read. And then I was kind of looking for some science fiction to read. I haven't read a lot of science fiction lately, and I do like to read that occasionally. So I did go ahead and pick up Crown Chasers by Rebecca Koffendafer. This is the first book in a young adult science fiction series. It sounds like a lot of fun. They're describing it as like Hunger Games meets some other sci-fi book. I don't know if it doesn't say on the top. This comes out a little bit sooner than the last one. It comes out on September 29th. Again, I requested this through Edelweiss to review, so hopefully that'll be a fun read. It just sounds like it's going to have a lot of action and a lot of science fiction fighting and stuff like that. So I think it'll be good. Then the third one I got to review is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. This one I have known about for quite a while and was really looking forward to this. I think I got this one on NetGalley. It comes out October 20th, so in a couple of months, and it is just a young adult fantasy kind of fairy tale feel type of thing. I do enjoy a lot of Ashley Poston's writing, so hopefully, and I probably say her last name wrong too, because I say a lot of people's names wrong, but hopefully this will be a good one. All right. Then I did get some books through Kindle Unlimited again. Really just 2 of them in their series that I have been reading, so they should be familiar. The first one is The Dragonfly Oath by Jordan Murray, and this is the 3rd and final book in the Fire Queen's Apprentice series. This is a young adultish fantasy series that I've been reading and enjoying. I really, really loved the first book, and the second book was pretty good, and hopefully this book will wrap everything up nicely. So, I love the covers on these. They're really beautiful. And then the second one I got through Kindle Unlimited is Lost Talismans and a Tequila by Annette Marie. This is, I believe, the seventh book in the Guild Codex Spellbound series. These are just really fun, kind of lighthearted urban fantasies with a lot of magic in them. I whipped through them very quickly. There's a sister series to this called Guild Codex Demonized. I'm actually liking that one better than the Spellbound series, but I do believe that there are going to be 8 books in this series and 4 in the Demonized series. So we're getting close to the end here. I think the next one in the series comes out in like October. So yeah, very excited about that. And I did find out that there is going to be a Guild Codex Warped series, which is another series that kind of ties in. And some of those characters were introduced in the third book in the Guild Codex Demonized series. So that's a lot of background on all of this, but I am a pretty big Annette Marie fan, so I've learned a lot about these series. So very excited to read this and see how things go. All right. I'm going to move on to books I got for my birthday. These are kind of belated birthday presents. I may have mentioned we were going to do my birthday, but we had a little bit of a scare where one of my son's friend's brothers may have been exposed to COVID-19, so we opted not to meet my parents for my birthday. And then and all that COVID-19 came back, testing came back negative for that family, so then we found out like we weren't really exposed to it. So we went ahead and met my parents to help them out with some stuff this weekend. And I got my birthday presents from them then. And the first one I got is Planet Test Volume 2 by Makoto Yukimura, who also writes the Vinland Saga. This is definitely one of his earlier works. You can even tell throughout the first omnibus of this, like he gets better. And this is the second omnibus. So this wraps up the Planetes manga series. This is kind of a science fiction, like day in the life series. Like, you know, the characters that started originally run a trash collector in space. And it's been interesting. One of the characters, so the first omnibus was a little unfocused, like you kind of bounce between. But as it goes on, it starts to focus on one of these series who really wants to be part of the space mission. And he gets picked for it, and I assume that is where this is going to go in the second volume. So, looking forward to reading that. The second one I got for my birthday is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm a huge Maggie, and I think I say her name wrong too, but I'm a huge Stiefvater fan. I really like all of her books. She's got a very unique, slightly ambiguous writing style, I would say, but I'm a huge fan of it. So this is the first book in the Dreamer trilogy, and very excited to read this. I didn't even know it was coming out. I don't know. Sometimes I lose track of things, and so this should be a really good one. All right. So then after my birthday, I kind of reviewed my list of like manga and books that I want to read, and one of the manga that I had on my list for a while, I decided to go ahead and get it. It was reduced in price on Amazon, and I've been wanting to read for a while. And that is Vegabond by Takihiko Enua. I probably didn't say that right. This is a manga series. It's seinen, so it's definitely adult, explicit content. It's based on L.G. Yoshikawa's Musashi, and anybody who actually speaks Japanese is probably just very sad at how I murder all of these words. But this is a 3-in-1 omnibus of the first 3 Vegabond mangas. And yeah, it's really beautifully drawn from what I can see. I've heard it's a really excellent story, and it is older. I believe this originally came out in like 2000, but really looking forward to reading it. It's supposed to be very good for fans of Berserk, so I like Berserk a lot. My husband is a huge fan of Berserk, so I'm excited to read this. So we got a couple good. I really like reading mangas in their omnibus format because I tend to read pretty fast, and like if I just get one volume, you know, it gets expensive for me to read. And if I can get these 3-in-1s for like, you know, $12-15, it's really a good deal for me, and it gives me a longer time to read in a more complete story. All right. So those are all the books and ebooks. Now let's go into the audiobooks. I was getting really low on audiobooks. I am commuting again, and when I am working at work, I'm working by myself in the lab a lot, and so I tend to listen to audiobooks or music. So I am kind of ripping through my audiobooks. So I have 4 more audiobooks that I got, and the first one is one I actually used an Audible credit for, and that is See, now the sun's getting in the way. Turning Darkness into Light by Marie Brennan. I'm a huge Marie Brennan fan. I absolutely loved her Natural History of Dragons, and this is another book in a Natural History of Dragons series that features, I think, the main character's like granddaughter or something like that. So really excited to go back to that world. I love that world. When I heard this was out, I just really felt like I needed it. So I went ahead and I got it for audiobook and used a credit for that. in Audible, I do have a platinum membership to it, but I also get Audible Escapes. And my son has really been getting into listening to audiobook this summer since he's home all day and not doing any camps or anything. So he's been using a lot of my credits. So the next 3 audiobooks I actually got through Audible Escapes, and I've talked about that before. The way that works is you pay like an extra $7 a month to get access to all these Audible Escape books, and you can borrow like 10 at a time, and you can take as long to read them as you want and kind of rotate them throughout the month. There's really no limit on how many you read a month. Yeah, it's been a really good deal for me. The only catch is almost all the Audible Escapes have a little bit of a romance bent to them. So, like, it covers fantasy, science fiction, steampunk, all of that, but a lot of them tend to be a little bit more heavy on the romance side. Some of them aren't, some of them are. All depends on what you get. So I did get 3 through Audible Escapes. The first one I got is Rose Daughter by Robin McKinley. I feel like I've read this at some point because I think I've read everything by Robin McKinley, but I can't find that I ever reviewed it or marked it as read. And I do know I've read her other Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's called Beauty. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling by Robin McKinley, who's one of my favorite writers. He was my absolute favorite writer growing up. I wrote like Hero and the Crown and those kind of books, which are very good young adult fantasies if you want to go retro and pick one of those up. But Rose Daughter should be a pretty good listen. The second one I got through Audible Escapes is The Frog. See, this was working well until the sun got lower in the sky. The Frog Princess by E.D. Baker. I haven't read a lot of E.D. Baker books, but I hear it's very funny. She's very funny and does a good job. So The Frog Princess is about a princess who kisses a frog who's supposed to turn into a prince, but instead she turns into a frog, and that's all I know about. I know this is supposed to be very kind of humorous and funny, and it's kind of just a short little fun audiobook to listen to. So the whole Frog Princess series, I think that's what it's called, Tales in the Frog Princess is the name of the series, is on Audible Escapes, so I will be able to read the whole series in its entirety, so it should be fun. And then the last one I got through Audible Escapes is The Parfait, P-A-R-F-I-T, The Parfait Night by Stella Riley. And this is the first book in the Rockcliffe series, and this is kind of a historical fiction / romance about, I don't know a lot about, I know it's about kind of a quirky woman who lives on her own, and this dude comes out and meets her and tries to, and convinces her to come back to like London society with him and come out in society or whatever, and it ends up being kind of a humorous historical romance thing. So a lot of people seem to like it a lot on Audible, and again, I got through Audible Escapes, so it's kind of just a free loan for me. And yeah, I think that'll be a good read. Both, I know I'm getting a lot of books on loan through Audible Escapes and Kindle Unlimited. I just can't go to the library. I actually don't know if our library is reopened, but last time I checked, they weren't exactly open. You could call them and make an appointment to pick up books that you would put on hold, and they like lay them on a table outside so you can get them. I should probably check and see if the policy's changed in the last couple months. But for me, because I do read so much, the $9 a month Kindle Unlimited has been well worth it, because I've been reading 4 or 5 books a month through Kindle Unlimited, if not more. And the Audible Escapes is $7 a month, and a credit for an audiobook is like $9.50 or something like that. And so I always end up listening to at least a couple audiobooks through Audible Escapes. So having that extra availability for audiobooks is really worth it, especially since my son is using up a lot of my audiobook credits right now. So yeah, so those are the books I got. It was 4 audiobooks and then 2 gifts, so that's 6. 1 that I bought, and then 1 that I borrowed. I don't know, I should just count 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 books I think I went through. Yeah, so lots of good stuff to read. I'm definitely not lacking for stuff to read right now. My TB read pile has been increasing, so I'm going to need to watch that and make sure I don't get a lot more books and I get caught up. I think I had And I have been keeping it down because those of you who know me know I had like 300 books in my to be read pile a couple of years ago. At the beginning of last month, I had 11. And at the beginning of this month, I think I had 17. So I'm still doing okay, but I need to make sure I don't like lose control. As for other stuff, we are still doing fine. I'm still going into the lab a couple days a week. My husband is still working from home. We did find out that our school district is going to do like a hybrid learning model this year. So my son will be going back to school 2 days a week and then doing the other 3 days a week from home. We're pretty lucky in that it affects us, right? Like this whole thing sucks. But my son is older, so the online learning, he's pretty good at figuring that out. And he's 13, so he's older. He's not dumb. He can figure it out. And he did a pretty good job in the spring, like getting his work in and participating in the online schooling. And my husband works from home, so even if I'm not home, someone is home with him. So we're in a pretty lucky situation from that perspective. Like we don't need to have somebody home with him to supervise. We could both leave the house for a few hours and he'd be perfectly fine. So that's good. We have been trying to like carefully do slightly more things. So like we did meet my parents, got a new camper. We met them and helped them with some stuff, and we all wore masks and all that last weekend. And we did meet some friends on Sunday. We met a couple friends and went out hiking with them. So we are trying to keep things a little bit normal. And we're trying to do all the Pokemon Go events because, it's just something kind of fun to do. Like we'll go do Raid Hour on Wednesday. And I think I've mentioned we have a raid train that we join, and everybody just meets in their cars in the parking lot and does the raids and then kind of moves from park to park in their cars. So, we're trying to do what we can to have some fun stuff thrown in and have it not just be work and cleaning the house and stuff like that. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well and that you're staying safe during this crazy pandemic time, and that your family's healthy and all that. Anyways, hope you have a great week and that you got a lot of great books and have fun reading them. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.